Just like learning the different terminology has been the main thing.
And how do you think you're doing with it so far? Like, do you feel comfortable, half comfortable?
I feel like I've been very comfortable. I feel like Florida State did a good job of preparing me for things after I left there, so I feel like I'm pretty comfortable.
And as far as being someone you have experience, not with this program, but with Isaiah Gone and Jordan Gone, they're looking for leadership on this team. Do you feel like even though you're a newcomer, that your experience in the ACC can lend that to being a leader on this team, or do you feel like you're still leaving the leadership to other people?
I feel like I'm in the middle, like transitioning towards like trying to be a leader, because I didn't want to come in and be like overly when it wasn't my team. So I feel like I'm in like a transition of trying to like do like both in a sense.
And what is it? I know you mentioned it when you first came here, but we haven't had a chance to really talk one-on-one or anything. What is it that brought you to Miami? What was it that attracted you to this program?
The success they've had with transfers and the winning. I've always like my main thing when I entered the transfer portal was just go somewhere where I can win and flourish. And I feel like that was here.
Did you talk to they've had a lot of transfers here who have done well. Did you talk to anyone in particular that really kind of, no? Okay.
Just your experience with this team as far as talent level. Obviously you played with Florida State. Just your take on the talent level on this team.
I think it's definitely the most talented team I've been a part of. I just feel like we still have a certain way to go since we're still learning each other. But I think by far this is the most talented team I've been.
Do you think you've kind of established a role on this team?
Not yet. It's still super early, so I just feel like I'm just every day just trying to learn my teammates, learn myself. So I wouldn't say not yet.
Matthew, I apologize because I walked over here after you started talking. How difficult was this decision for you? You know, this is an unusual move, maybe from the outside. Just what did Coach L, what did Coach Courtney, what did they say to you in those couple of meetings that made you say, okay, I'm going to be good here?
It was very difficult because I love Florida State. Still kind of do love Florida State because I was there for 2 years. So, but I had to do what was best for me in a business decision. But I feel like the biggest thing that they showed to me was just the success they've had with transfers and how from like year to year with the transfer they've had, like year 1 to year 2 with transfers or their year at whatever school they were at to their year here, how much of a jump they've made. So that was the biggest thing for me.
How soon before you got on campus did you go back to your spot where you hit a certain shot from?
Not too
That
soon.
will remain nameless.
I haven't.
What was that moment like?
It was cool. I really don't like talking about it now since I'm here, but it was cool.
Do you say we beat us that night? Like, how do you
I still say we beat y'all.
Yeah, how's that process been being able to, to grow the bonding? I know you guys were able to go out to Europe. Probably was a little rocky at first, but, it seems like you've transitioned well. Can you talk on that?
Yeah, it's been good. I feel like France and Europe helped a lot, just playing with new team, new guys, learning the coaches and how everything, because practice and games are completely different because you never know what can happen. So just playing games, like for me, it was good for me.
What's been the biggest change from Florida State to Miami, maybe in terms of, philosophy-wise or, the players you're playing alongside with? Can you touch on that?
I would say defense, because Florida State we switched 1 through 5, so you're guarding like everybody that's on the court pretty much. And here you're not switching 1 through 5, so I still have my moments where I'm like, oh, and I mess up, but that's been the biggest thing.
Totally different players, I get that. But do you kind of see yourself the way they used George Miller last year? Do you kind of, will there be some similarities, and how do you think Coach L uses you, and can you be this year's version of George? Not to say you have to play like him, you know what I'm getting at. Like, you have the same length, same skill set. Obviously, you're right-handed, he's left, but do you see the parallels of how they used him?
I definitely do. That was a big reason on why I came here as well, just the success that they had with him. Even though we're like I wouldn't say completely different players, but his game and my game are different in facets. But the way they were able to use him, that's something I feel like they can do with me too.
Nice. They didn't do like a ton of 4 out like with him. It was kind of like 3.5 out in a weird kind of way with him. Will it be more 4-out with you, do you think, or how?
Depends on the game. I couldn't really tell. Yeah, just who you're playing. I feel like game to game there's different adjustments on how you should win. So that's my thing about it.
You alluded to it a minute ago, like Florida State, they do things differently defensively. I'm sure terminology is all different, but Leonard's won 1 million games. Coach L has won 1 million games. Cool is it to go through college with those two guys, as who've seen everything, to be the one that, be the ones that get you ready for the next level.
Yeah, I think it's really cool. I think about it like every day, how I went from one Hall of Fame coach to another Hall of Fame coach, but how they're completely different in the way that they do coach. So I just feel like both of the experiences that I'm going to get from both of them is going to help me along the way.
Leonard went, of course, from here to Florida State, so you're just like the player to be named later in the trade. So it works out.
Is there any player that kind of surprised you now that you practice with anybody? You're like, whoa, this guy's really talented.
Keyshawn George, definitely 6'8", 6'9", smooth, comfortable as a freshman. So that's definitely the biggest surprise.
What's been the area that you've been working on the most this offseason?